What's up, everybody? It's your girl Brittany coming back at you with another video. Before we get into this, I'm gonna need y'all to hit that like button and subscribe with post notifications on so you can keep up with all the latest trending news and gossip going on in these social media streets. On Wednesday, August 11th, 2021, Syesha Mercado and her husband Tyron DEENER went viral after an Instagram live started to circulate where they could be seen surrounded by cops and child protective services being forced to hand over their then 10-day-old baby girl, Syesha.
Do you have children? Would you just... There's no point.
They're not listening. There's no point.
They don't. It's so wrong, Sarah. How could
You don't
guys
feel
do
nothing?
this? Do you not feel anything?
Let's put the baby in the
You guys,
crib.
I'm human. This is
I
my baby.
understand
My
that.
baby is days old. And you're taking my baby away from me. You're taking my baby away from me. You have no heart. This is so wrong.
Just give her a second. Can you give her a second?
Don't make it seem like I'm
it's
crazy,
not.
okay?
Yeah, we support. This is normal.
I know you have children.
Sarah.
This is my baby.
You may not have babies, but
I carried my baby for 9
This is-
months.
Understand that.
this is normal.
You don't care.
Yes, I do. Put the please.
You don't care.
Which,
Would you like to put the
You
baby
could
in
have
the car
talked.
seat?
No, I don't. I want my baby.
You have to put the baby.
My baby is healthy and happy.
Okay, put the
My baby is breastfeeding from me. What are you gonna give my baby?
Please put the baby in the car seat.
Can you just give her a second? We gonna cooperate, but don't be a human before anything. We know you're doing your job, but you have some empathy.
Oh my.
That's our attorney, ma'am. That's our attorney.
You're traumatizing my baby. My baby's gonna cry. I don't even want my baby
You have
out
the
like
bag?
this.
I do.
Can I see it? The pacifier.
All you had to do was call the attorney. We have all the paperwork. You guys have created so much trauma. You just expect me to just come outside and be like, hi guys, you're my friends. You're not my friends.
Have you all put this much energy into a family that has no
This is
criminal background?
unnecessary.
She in?
You know how much I've done for this county? I have the key to this city. I have the key to this city and Sarasota. I've done nothing
In
but
the
help
top,
this county.
in this-
Manatee Sheriff County
it's a
Office.
pacifier.
I did an anti-bullying program for you guys.
Here.
You're so wrong.
David, just call me when you guys are done at the hospital and I'll let you know about
The blanket.
The couple has since been reunited with their daughter.
Syesha is home. All right, Syesha is home. We have Syesha with us. So we want to say thank you because of y'all and my family. We've had the proper support to get the best attorneys in the country to be able to bring justice. That Syesha is back. We got a lot of babies to get home, but just know through the people, through you all, we were able to counteract this unjust system and this corruption to be able to get our baby back. So Syesha is home, officially home.
However, they still have a 1-year-old son, Amin Ra, who's in custody of the foster care system, which is why Tyron and Syesha were on Child Protective Services radar to begin with. Syesha Mercado is a singer, songwriter, and creative entrepreneur who finished in the top 3 of American Idol's 7th season behind David Archuleta and the season's winner, David Cook. Syesha went on to have success in Broadway's The Book of Mormon and toured nationally in the musical Dreamgirls. In 2008, Syesha was given a key to her hometown, Sarasota, and local officials proclaimed May 9th as Syesha Mercado Day. Her husband, Tyron, is an educator and mentor working in the foster care system. On February 26, 2021, Syesha and Tyron took their 15-month-old son, Amin-Ra, to Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital in St. Petersburg, Florida, for help with extra fluids while transitioning from extended breastfeeding to being bottle-fed after Syesha's breast milk supply started to run dry due to her being pregnant again. While at the hospital, Amin-Ra was assessed by a physician who is also the head of Pinellas County's Children's Protection Team, Dr. Sally Smith. Dr. Sally Smith oversees nearly every case at All Children's Hospital involving suspicious injuries. She is considered one of the most powerful figures in the regional child welfare system and has long been criticized by defense attorneys, parents, and child welfare employees for her aggressive approach. In 2019, Dr. Sally Smith was the subject of a USA Today Network investigation for being accused of being too quick to conclude caregivers are harming children. The investigation reviewed hundreds of Smith's cases and found more than a dozen instances in which charges were dropped, parents were acquitted, or caregivers had credible claims of innocence, but their reputations forever tarnished. Medical staff at Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital reported Syesha and Tyron to Manatee County Sheriff's Office, claiming Amin-Ra was severely malnourished and allegedly accused the couple of refusing a B12 intramuscular shot that was said to be a matter of life and death. However, Tyron and Syesha adamantly denied they never turned down the shot, and at no point was Amin-Ra on the verge of death. Almost 2 weeks later, St. Petersburg police removed Syesha and Tyron from the hospital for trespassing amid allegations of malnutrition. Amin-Ra was discharged in late March and immediately transferred into foster care by Manatee Child Protective Services without anyone consulting Syesha or Tyron first on whether there were any family or friends qualified to house him while they investigate. Tyron and Syesha says they are given limited information and currently only have weekly Zoom visitation for an hour with Amin-Ra, with no court order stating these visitation limitations. Since Amin-Ra was taken away, Tyron and Syesha have continuously used Instagram as a way to speak out and bring awareness to their situation and allow others who are experiencing similar situations to share their stories.
I'm in her closet and now I put your onesie. I sleep with it at night like this. And then I go like this to bring me comfort. But it'll never be enough until you're back with us. I never imagined if I were to go to that hospital, I would be leaving without you. That's you, Ra. Nobody ever needs to feel this pain. It hurts so bad. Ra, I stay strong for you. But I'm gonna let my voice be heard. Because they claim they removed you because of a B12 shot. They said that I refused a B12 shot, which I didn't. the police officer said, he said, it's only one night. But that one night turned into 53 nights.
In the state of Florida, there's Florida statutes that they have in place to be able to kind of like create a narrative to be able to remove children inside of medical institutions. So right in front of you, this is Florida statute, Title 5, Chapter 39, and this is what they used to be able to legally kidnap Amin-Ra. And here's Chapter 39, 39.395. It speaks about detaining a child, medical and hospital personnel, saying any person in charge of a hospital or a similar institution or any physician or licensed healthcare professional treating a child may detain that child without the consent of the parents. They're able to do this if they're able to create a scenario of an emergency or be able to create some type of tone that they're saying that the child is in danger. What they did with us, they wanted our son so bad out of our care to be able to study our son that they made up a lie about us refusing a B12 shot in order to remove him from our care. We have not committed any crime. We have not done anything wrong. They didn't press any criminal charges. The court hearings that we have been going to are in regards to something called dependency court. And dependency is about them basically not operating under the confinements of the law, but them saying that they feel that we should do things differently. So what they're doing in dependency courts across this nation is they're using intimidation tactics to try to coerce people into social behaviors. We are a holistic family. We live a natural lifestyle where we believe nutrients is in our food, which is not just a belief, that's a fact. And they use this dependency system to try to intimidate families all throughout this country to get them to modify their behavior, to live in this box of one size fits all, to try to get parents to admit to guilt to something that they didn't do in a form of neglect, to get them to take parenting classes, take psychological evaluations, do all kind of stuff that has nothing to do with the well-being of the child. So y'all, I'm gonna start with Fox News, when they ran our story on Fox News on how they lied about the statements they made, because who removed our child was Manatee County Sheriff's Department CPI Daniel McCord. And so in here, I'm gonna play the statement that they made in regard to our son, and then I'm gonna show you visuals of our son. And this live is very important so people can know the whole truth and nothing but the truth, okay? So this is their statements.
Failing health. Our investigators learned through medical professionals that this child was malnourished, underweight, very unhealthy. And we were also told by these medical professionals that unless he got the treatment that he needed, ongoing consistent treatment, that he would die. Manatee County says a judge chose to place Amin-Ra at first in a medical foster care home. It's our understanding that there had been a breakdown, a lack of medical care. In a statement, Mercado told Fox 13 she favors a holistic approach to healthcare and that her son has been seen by medical doctors and a lactation specialist before his visit to All Children's Hospital.
So let's break this down real quick. He said, let's break this down real quick so we can get the whole truth and nothing but the truth. I would like, because we've had so many people unconditionally supporting us, even though when people know what it is and what's going on. But I would just like to show people as a family, like to, so you can see the truth, not just hear it and feel it, but also see it. Let me show y'all something real quick. Let me show y'all something. Stay tuned into this live. Let me show y'all something. They were talking about our son inside the hospital, how bad he was doing, right? This is in the hospital. Show y'all something. How bad he was doing. This is Amin-Ra in the hospital. with his amazing mother, my wife's side. This is how bad he was doing in the hospital, my people. You see Amin Ra, right? This is how bad he was doing in the hospital. Y'all want to see the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? This is how bad our son was doing in the hospital. You see the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? This is how bad our son was doing. This is how bad our son was doing. I'm going to keep repeating this. This is how bad our son was in the hospital.
Our investigators learned through medical professionals that this child was malnourished, underweight, very unhealthy.
Very unhealthy.
And we were also told by these medical professionals that unless he got the treatment that he needed, ongoing, consistent treatment, that he would die.
He would die. Do it look like Amin Ra is anywhere near death or ever been near death? He went there for fluids while transitioning from breastfeeding to independent drinking. This is like a child that's about to die. This is him in the hospital. Y'all see the nurses? I got more for you. This Amin Ra in the hospital.
He said, Dada.
Does this look like a child that's about to die? This is Amin Ra in the hospital. I'm gonna say this repeatedly.
Agreed.
This is Amin Ra inside Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital. Does it look like Amin Ra is anywhere near death? But this is a statement that Manatee County Sheriff's Department is making. I'll show another one for you. Cause it's a beautiful thing watching my wife read to Amin Ra, because Ra loves books. So this is her reading to him in the hospital. Does this look like a child that's at imminent risk for death or in danger? Does he look like he's extremely sick? This is in the hospital, my people.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here today. This is not very easy for me to speak, especially under these circumstances. It's Mother's Day, my son's not here, and there's just so much going on. But despite how I feel, I know that it is necessary for me to use my words to make a change and to be the change. And I could have never imagined seeing myself going through something like this, or my family going through something like this, but we are. And the way I see it is, in all of this, I have to remain strong for my family and especially for my son. And I'm still processing this entire situation. And it's an emotional roller coaster every single day. I go through so many emotions of literally reliving my entire experience leading up to the decision of taking my son, Amin Ra, to the hospital. I literally don't have words that can express exactly how I feel. I can't really articulate exactly what it feels like, the pain, the rage, the sorrow. You know, 60 days is a long time to be without a beautiful spirit that you created and that lived inside of you for 9 months. And every day it takes a strength beyond myself to be able to function, to be able to stay grounded and calm and to have peace, because it's just challenging. This is something that you don't ever expect to happen to you. It's just something you don't prepare for. So emotionally, it is a lot every day. And right now I am pregnant. And so it is requiring an inner strength within me to be able to just function and remain strong for my family and for Amun-Ra. So I just wanted to speak from my heart, first and foremost, and then just hit certain points because I want to let you guys know that eventually we're going to have a town hall meeting soon for other mothers and other families to share their stories, to share what they've been through, similar situations, so we can find solutions and reflect on exactly what's going on, and to be able to use our voices to make a change that has been needed for a very, very, very long time. And so basically this is just an introduction, just to share how I feel as a mother, and to share some of my story with you guys. It's basically me calling out. It's a call to action, to demand an investigation of what has happened. There's a lot of things we know that was done that was not a part of protocol, and that was very illegal. And I've remained very silent for a while. Even before this all happened, I'm just not used to using my platform to speak out about anything and just be really silent and quiet. So this is a big change for me, and it's not easy, but I do it for Ra. We're doing this for our son. And I just wanted to point out that when the CPI officer actually took our son, they didn't properly serve us when they removed him when they removed us from the hospital. They banned us from John Hopkins All Children's Hospital on March the 11th. And we weren't given the proper documentation stating, why we were being moved. And we were never properly served. So this is not just to share those details, but it's also to just let you know that in the future, we will be speaking out more and speaking up and allowing other families to do the same. This is really hard for me to talk right now, so I'm really doing my best. It's taking a lot of strength for me to just be before you guys right now. But this whole situation, I basically feel like in the media, we're told that, children are taken away from bad parents. But my question for you all today is, who's exactly setting that standard for treatment for parents? What that exactly looks like? Every day in America, parents are separated from their families and mistreated. They're mishandled. They're misquoted by a very oppressive system. And I do know that my family is an example of that. I went to the hospital for help. I went to the hospital for support. And instead, I was treated like a criminal. My family was treated like criminals for seeking medical assistance. So immediately, as soon as I walked into those doors, I was judged and thought to be, not this ideal parent. And there was a lot of assumptions, and I could feel like this unspoken lack of support and judgment. And we were treated like criminals just basically for going in the hospital and doing what a lot of parents do all over. go into the hospital to seek medical assistance. And, never could I have imagined going to that specific hospital to get help for my child, but walking away without my child. I'm a breastfeeding mother who recently found out that I was pregnant, and my milk supply went down, and my son was refusing to take the fluids that we were giving him. He wanted mama's breast milk, like a lot of breastfeeding babies do. And I went to the hospital in the middle of this entire process, in the middle of the weaning process, which I know a lot of mothers out there experience all the time. I've spoken to a lot of mothers who have had a very similar experience, but not necessarily the same outcome. And instead of educating myself and my family and supporting us and providing us with resources, I was met with a lot of judgment and accusations that literally just started to spiral out of control. So right now, my family is literally experiencing the aftermath of that, the injustice of that. And like I said, I've been very quiet about it. But, when you comply and when you do your best to be the non-resistant Black woman, the non-resistant woman, but even in your doing so, you're being asked these questions and your child gets taken away from you. At a certain point, I had to say to myself, I refuse to let my story be unseen and unheard. And I have to use my voice. And, people are used to me using my voice for a very specific thing, performing and singing. But right now I'm using my voice to call out, to speak out. This is about just letting it be known so that we can gather everyone who wants to be a part of this to also lift their voice and speak up with us. I don't want to be redundant, but like I said, this is very difficult for me to articulate and to share because I'm just not used to sharing a lot anymore. So I do my best every day, but despite how I feel, I just felt it was necessary to actually to use this platform to let it be known and to be heard.
Thank you, Syesha. And now we will hear from Amun-Ra's father and protector, Tyron DEENER.
Grand Rising, everyone. I want to say thank you for everybody tuning in, and happy Mother's Day to and all the mothers that's tuned in. And I'll make it quick. It's a simple thing of us going in and to get assistance while our son transitions from extended breastfeeding to 100% drinking on his own. And that process in the time of our son being in the hospital, it wasn't a welcoming experience or a good experience to witness and experience how Sy was treated as a mother and just how we were those hidden conversations versus them working with us for the best interests of our son. The initial removal on March 11th, it was based off of them saying that we refused a B12 intramuscular shot. But let's say, though we never refused the B12 intramuscular shot, but the thing about it is, that's no reason to separate a child from his parents. And the procedures of them stating that our son needed to be in their care and then placed into a medical foster, so he can receive the proper medical care that he needs. These are their statements. And to find out that when they placed him, he didn't get placed in a medical foster. He was placed in a normal foster. So the basis of everything they did and say that what he needed medically is not what they followed. So our son has been in a normal foster going against what they said he needed. And then the protocols of removing a child from the family, there was no interviewing of relatives. And my own mother, Amin-Ra's grandmother, was in the emergency placement hearing, and she gave the judge her cell phone number and information. And to this day, our son is still in a foster home. So when it pertains to removing a child from a parent's care, that protocol of looking to interview relatives, friends of the family before the last resort of foster care, that process was not used for us. And even to this day, how the case management team has handled going to interview, or it still hasn't been done to this day. It's been dragged out, and our son has been, for no legitimate explanation or reason at all, to explain why he's in a foster home. Because the studies and research have been done about how much healthier it is for a child to be with their family. That's the last resort when it pertains to removing a child from the care of a parent. A parent should literally have to be a horrible situation in order for you to remove a child from their parents. There's nothing about our situation where we're not an example of what good parents are. A good parent would have not sought to get assistance to help their child. Good parents utilize resources like what we did. Our child went to a doctor before coming there. Our child seen a lactation specialist. And then after that, he just was stubborn. Our son, Amin-Ra, about wanting to consume enough fluids on his own, even though he was already eating solid foods, and hospitals are there for those particular reasons. And instead of us getting assisted and helped, it was the total opposite for us. So right now, our case is still open, but this is just basically what happened. And we're just here to bring light to the situation so we can just start creating a dialogue where if people are in a position to be able to remove children from the care of good parents, what is the standard for a good parent? Because we love our child. We have a website up, aminrasabah.life, that shows from birth up until going into the hospital. If that's not good parenting, I would like to see clearly what it is when it pertains to loving your child, socializing with your child, and doing everything you're supposed to do as a loving mother and a loving father. And these institutions, such as hospitals, are there to assist the people. And that's not what I experienced when it pertains to the whole time that Syesha and our son was in Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital. So the process was just not, it wasn't done right. We didn't even receive, to put this out there, the original document that removed our son, the emergency petition for placement. We didn't receive that document until a week after our son was removed. And the same day we received that document, the CPR officer said that her investigation was closed. So upon them removing our son from our care, there was no physical documentation to say why they were doing it and what was the basis of them doing it. So when you're looking at a due process issue, that's step one. We weren't properly notified of what you were doing and why you were doing it. The only thing we had was a verbal statement from the CPR officer, which is you refused the B12 shot. And we clearly made it clear that we didn't refuse it. So we can say, let's say hearsay. Where's the documentation that gives a basis to what you're trying to do? She said she didn't need to give us anything. So a week later, we finally got the documentation via email, and it just, the whole process just didn't make any sense. From just not being notified properly with documentation, all the way to the point of not interviewing relatives for placement. And then we also had relatives submit their information. And we also had the grandmother, which is my mother, had a background check and a home study done. And then the management team said it wasn't enough information, they need to do another one. So there's been things that just, there needs to be some kind of accountability when it pertains to if the agency chooses to separate children from their parents, to somebody to oversee this process and hold people accountable for following the proper process. Because us as parents, we do a lot within the community. We love people. We love helping people. You know, I work with foster children. We have 3 other children in our home. Our lives are pretty open to see what we do and with SI and helping tons of people with health. And that's all we do, is it's about serving the people. So it doesn't make sense. And I don't understand from any of their personnel, from case management to CPI, on their basis of saying that our son is not safe with us.
The damage done by failing to place Amin-Ra with a loving, qualified family member, no one can ever undo that. That can never be undone. The inconsistencies and the misrepresentations, the being misquoted by the CPS, the CPI officer, you know, this is our story. This is what we went through. And that was just basically what I wanted to share with you guys. And we just wanted to share this with you guys. Dr. Sally Smith actually was involved in this as well. She saw my son for a very short amount of time. Right now, if you look her up, this has happened to...
It's nothing new.
This has happened to other families, and, you know, we just really want everyone who has been involved in doing this injustice held responsible. And that's what we really want to see moving forward. So that's all we have to say for now.
When you got loving parents out here and they done created a situation where when it comes to this family court, where they can just open up cases on people based off of false accusations or lies or fabricated information, and then create statues and stuff to remove people's children, and then you got to spend all this money to get an attorney. Because if you use an attorney that they present to you, you're going to lose your child, probably permanently. So you got to, as a parent, have that courage to stand up. We just coming out of pure love from our hearts, that we need everybody to continue to support. We need continued support to ride this thing out, and all the people that's going through it, we empathize and we right there with you. But we need continued support, because these people got a whole system that's built on a lie, and all they do is lie. The truth makes so many people uncomfortable. And if you ain't standing up for these babies right now, I don't know how you go to bed at night or how you look yourself in the mirror if you can't take a little bit of time out your day and see what's going on with all these babies getting snatched up. This is my wife, and there's nothing I can say to her when she crying because our son ain't here. There's nothing I can say. And it's my job to protect. Us speaking up and telling people about what's going on with our child is what needs to happen, because us speaking up will prevent it from happening to somebody else's child. So everything we doing is to fight back against an unjust situation. We don't have to explain ourselves to this all manipulation and how these people operate. Well, why are you saying this and why are you doing this? Because y'all wrong. I'm not afraid to say that. CPS, DCF, all these entities in regards to so-called missions towards strengthening children and families, y'all are not doing that. Most of these case managers and all these people that come in to check people's homes, they know this shit up. And they keep their head down and just do their job. So all come down to contracts. The federal government sends money to each state. State gets money and have a budget. And they contract agencies for their services. And the way that everybody get paid is to open cases on people, whether it's truth or it's not. And that's what it comes down to. Y'all see this right here? Let me show you something this right here. You see this right here? This right here, it's symbolic to something. That this is something that was awarded to Psy. And it's the key to the city, where we live at. It's the key to the city. And the fact that my wife got she got the key to the city and got her own day in the city we grew up in, right? And all these accolades and all these different things that the society will give you, they'll give you in regards to entertaining people, right? But when it comes down for people, the energy that it needs to be done to speak up for these unjust situations in these children, the same energy that people put into supporting entertainment, athletics, anything in regards to what's popular, where are these people at in regards to what's going on with these children? That's all I'm saying. What's more important to you? Advocating for a child, speaking up for one of these children, or watching a basketball game, a football game? All those people out here that's not afraid to stand in truth, whether you are a medical professional, whether you are a social worker, whether you are a foster parent, whether you are a parent that have been a victim of this whole dependency process, continue to reach out to us. No matter where you at, whether you in Maine, California, New York, reach out to us, because the truth is the only way you will be liberated within yourself. A lot of people live their life suffering, holding things in. And that's not doing your children or the next generation any justice, because these children deserve to be protected and they deserve to be who they are. So I don't know when we're going to go live again, but I just want to share something in regard to being a man of my family and expressing the fact that within our case, the only neglect, they charged us with civil neglect. The only neglect that I have seen is Johns Hopkins All Children Hospital neglecting my wife in that institution, knowing that she was pregnant, and they was interrogating and questioning her about our culture and how we are and why we are the way we are. They never took her blood pressure, 2.5 weeks in the hospital. And they never took my wife's blood pressure. Check her vitals to see how my unborn child is doing. All they did was question us about why we look the way we look and why we live the way we live. And while I'm going to work every day, taking care of foster children. Do y'all know that? That we taking care of 3 other children in our household, and I'm taking care of 5 foster children, and they take my youngest child. What that look like? The system can trust us with foster children and our own children, but not our own child. All this chatter people reach out to us. Like I say, we grateful, we thankful, but do something. We done paid out over 25 grand for legal fees, and our son still ain't here. If you're a doctor, you are social workers, you work in this foster, and you ain't speaking up, shame on you. This real. We ain't backing down to nobody. We going to trial in November, standing on our truth. I told y'all this. Judge Joe Brown released his statistics. 97% of people that go to prison ain't got nothing to do with trial. It becomes them to admit for either they confessing or copping a deal. 97% of people that go to prison is not through them going and being found guilty through a judge. They either admit to confess to something or cop a deal. When it pertains to us, we not facing no criminal charges. They know we ain't done nothing wrong. But they lie. And they took a child, Amin-Ra, from good parents off of lies. Every document they submitted to the courts is a fabricated document. They put in the document that my own wife was in the hospital taking diapers off of our son and letting it all over the room so they can't get an adequate weight for our child. What do we look like? Do you think Sy would do something like that? This is the kind of lies that's in these documents. And this is pure passion for the love of our child. That we gotta wake up every day and he not here and we ain't done a goddamn thing wrong. That's the truth. And we that family that we gonna stand in our truth. Fuck a case plan. Ain't nobody doing no case plan. Case plan is when you admitting to anybody that know about this, when you admit to doing something, you ain't done nothing wrong. We ain't admitting to nothing because we ain't done nothing wrong. Parents are responsible to, if they need help with something, you go get that help. What do you think we did? My wife walked into the hospital like, hey, we need assistance with this. Neglect is doing nothing about it, right? Get an update on what's going on with us and our son, Amin-Ra. Around 4 o'clock, between 3 or 4 o'clock this morning, we got a phone call that our son, Amin-Ra, was headed to the hospital for having a fever. And upon getting to the hospital, there's a whole lot of details between arriving to the hospital, Sy arriving to the hospital, going into the room to check on our son, and just knowing that my wife was asked to leave the hospital by security.
A social media influencer by the name of Jenny Thomas spoke up in support of Syesha and Tyron. Jenny grew up in the foster care system and has recently sued the state of Washington for the negligence she experienced.
Today the little me, the little Jenny gets justice.
Okay, so I'm going to share some today, and I need you to come together with me, and I need us to rally, and I need us to support this, and I need us to change some shit today. So as someone who lived through the foster care system and has witnessed an extremely corrupt system, and who just sued the state of Washington for their extreme negligence while in their care, I'm going to give you a little bit of insider's information. Do you remember this woman? She was the mom whose son was taken by CPS in Florida due to negligence. She was pregnant with her second child, and her breast milk supply dropped, and just like Lily, he was very dependent on breast milk. And she became concerned about his weight, just like I was, and had gone to see doctors to make sure that he was, they could do everything possible for him because he wasn't taking a bottle and he was extremely dependent on breast milk. CPS stepped in and took her son. Since then, she has started an entire movement, radical. Her and her husband have been radical about getting her son back. I have never seen a mother do this who CPS claims to be negligent. First, we're always conditioned to think, what did the parents do wrong? What did the mom do wrong? I mean, how neglected were these poor kids, right? Because CPS wouldn't just go and take some healthy person's child away from them, right? So it has to be the parents' fault. That is so wrong. The state makes mistakes all of the time. My lawsuit is not the first, and it will not be the last. And that is where we are wrong. That is where we are wrong, and we need to stop our thinking. There has been ample evidence showing that these kids were not only safe and loved and nurtured, but were extremely cared for.
Obviously, we're going to want to make sure that this child is okay.
No, we get that.
So,
that's why you... We get that.
When we do our job, we have to do the welfare check. Case management could do that.
No, they could have. We just told them to get the information from our attorney.
So
that makes sense to you, ma'am?
Welfare check. They said how Syesha.
They wanted to see you. They wanted to see the baby.
And I asked them to please contact our attorney first.
But this time, because she already has a child in CPS custody, CPS is now knocking on their door to perform a welfare check on their brand new baby. And so when they open the door, they probably are scared shitless. Oh my God, what is CPS doing here? Are they coming to take my other baby? And so this time they have some tools, and they tell CPS workers, you need to contact our attorney. They've hired a high-powered attorney to make sure that their voice is heard and that their rights, that they can someone's advocating for their rights. And do you think that the CPS worker contact the attorney to find out that the baby was just seen by a doctor and deemed perfectly healthy? No, they didn't. In fact, what they did was they set up this sting. In the middle of nowhere, the mom and the dad get pulled over with the newborn baby, and all of these sheriffs and the CPS workers, and their baby is literally, the newborn baby, she's literally pulled from her mom's chest. Just like that. What you're about to watch next is every mother's worst fear. And every mother on the face of this earth knows this cry. It's inside of them. If God forbid something were to happen to her.
My baby is days old, and you're taking my baby away from me. You're taking my baby away from me. You have no heart. This is so wrong.
Just give us a second. Can you give us a second?
Don't make it like I'm crazy, okay?
Yeah, we support. This is normal.
I know you have children.
Sarah.
This is my baby.
You may not have babies, but
I carried my baby for 9 months.
Understand that.
This is normal.
You don't care.
Yes, I do. Put the police.
You don't care. I carried my baby for 9 months.
Understand that.
This is normal.
You don't care.
Yes, I do. Put the police.
You don't care.
Would you like to put the
You could have talked. No, I don't. I want my baby.
You have to put the baby.
My baby is healthy.
David, just call me when you guys are done at the hospital, and I'll let you know about
The blanket. The blanket.
How do we help? What do we do? Number one, you go and you follow Syesha. There are power in numbers. Did you see how uncomfortable that social worker was when she saw that she was being recorded? Our phones are the ordinary person's power, okay? Number two, you share. You share. We are only 7 people apart. We are all linked together, which means that we need Oprah to hear about this. We need Ellen to hear about this. We need everybody to hear about this. And number 3, you donate. You donate if you can so that they can continue to afford the people that can speak up for them. That is how we are going to reunite this family.
If you would like to help out Syesha and Tyron, you can share their posts and videos to bring more awareness to their case. Links to their petition and Gofundme are posted in the description box and pinned in the comment section.
This is probably the hardest thing I've ever had to experience in my life, go through in my life, having my most proudest most valuable creation being ripped and taken away from me. I love my son beyond what words can express. And what has happened has been extremely traumatizing. And so, I sing for you, Ra. I stay strong for you, Ra. I stay resilient for you because I have no other option. And what I've learned in this process is that this is not just happening to me, but this is happening to mothers all over. And so I'm using my voice so that I can be the change that I wish to see, so that I can be the light in the darkness, and so that I can show my son how powerful he is and how much light he is. And to all the mothers and to all the families who have had their children taken away from them due to being falsely accused, due to discrimination, due to being judged and criminalized, I stand with you, I rise up with you, and I'm here with you. I'm here with you. This is very, 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 very heavy to experience every day. But I keep going for you, Ra. I keep going for my son. I rise up for my son, and I will keep rising, and I will keep lifting my voice and letting it be heard. Until he's home.
We love you, Amun-Ra Sabah. You are our sunshine.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will talk to you in my next video.